Hey, what's up? It's me, Rav, you know, spiritual philanthropist. I want to talk about Bruce Lee and his contributions to not just the world of martial arts only. I mean, it's in every different discipline you can think of, philosophy. He applied physics to the things that he did because everything involved physics in the way he fought. He had to know it on an intrinsic level. That's a spiritual thing when you can understand physics on an intrinsic level. One of the things that separates him from an MMA fighter, I would say, and I'm no specialty in fighting. I had my little tough upbringing as a illegal foster kid, was homeless as a kid and had to fight on the streets and whatnot, but nothing to brag about, nothing like him. I respect him because I understand what he had to go through. I know at the age of 14 what it's like to have uh, your life be in front of you. And I understand from Bruce Lee's point of view what that means. There's no rules. Yeah, I forgot to leave out a few important details, like, growing up in the 80s and being an Indian kid growing up in America at that time. There wasn't too many. I didn't know who Gandhi was. I mean, for an example, and when I moved to Texas, 1979, I went back and forth from New York to Texas. So that's how we ended up the way we did as kids. Um, I remember when I got to Texas, I was like 9 years old, 10 years old somewhere, and somebody called me Gandhi, and I actually knocked him out because I thought he was calling me a bad word. So that's just to show you that I didn't really know who Gandhi was, what he stood for, or anything. The only people I really knew about that were my heroes, I consider my gurus up to this day, was Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali and people like that. And of course, some of the Hindu deities and Jesus Christ and stuff like that. These are my only things to look, to guide me in life, and then my own instincts, of course, as I learned and developed through life. And then, thank God my uncle taught me yoga as a very young kid, also about 9 years old I started. So all these things made an impact on or helped to, make me who I am. When you're in the ring is a whole different story. There's a ton of rules applied to the fighting game that you can't. I mean, if you go outside of that, it would be a whole different scope of a range of fighting there. And I understand what he was talking about. Also, the spiritual aspect. One of the things in the MMA that I really, really think that hurts a lot of the fighters is to have to fight for money, because money isn't something that people really want to fight for. We have a hard time working for it. You know, so I mean, it's something that people want to fight for. You think people want to go to war just for the dollar bill? We complain about that all the time, saying that we invaded Iraq and other countries just for money. Everybody's upset about that. So imagine what a fighter thinks when he walks in that ring. Do you really think he's really at his best, really fighting with everything that he has, when he's thinking, oh, I'm going to get, $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever the case may be? It's money, you know? If you trace back fighting, it goes back all the way to India with a monk that traveled across the Himalaya mountains into China. His name was Bodhidharma. Now, Bodhidharma brought the five animal styles as he crossed over the mountains. He watched animals and learned from them. Also, he applied as a monk from India. He applied his meditative discipline and his spiritual practices into that, which made him beyond average in every way. I can attest to that as a human being that suffered with a heart attack, and since I was a kid I had spinal stenosis. The doctor said I would never be able to do certain things. I went above and beyond, you know. I'm 45 now and I still feel pretty good, and I don't look too bad for 45. And I attribute that to being a vegan, and also to my spiritual discipline. And I think also my wife, who gives me lots of love, and my animals and pets, who gives me lots of love. All these things really culminate to bring me to be the best that I can be.